Hi everyone, my name is Paul and we're back with week 3 of Newegg's Spring into Action series here on Newegg TV. Today we're going to take a look at high definition televisions, and I'm going to go over 4 key areas that you should check on and be familiar with if you're looking to purchase an HDTV. First is going to be the technology that goes into the creation of the screen itself. Secondly is going to be the proper viewing distance that you should choose, and based on that viewing distance, the size of screen that you should pick out. Third is going to be the connectors that are on the back of the TV, so you make sure you can plug in your cable box or other media device such as a PlayStation 3 here. And finally, we're going to go over some other specs such as contrast ratio and viewing angle that you should be familiar with when you're browsing through HDTV options. So first off, let's take a look at some of the technology that is currently available for flat screen televisions. There are pretty much 3 of them that are viable and out there right now. First is plasma, second is LCD, and the third newest arrival is LED. Plasma, for its part, does have its pluses and its minuses. The good is that it has very good contrast ratio. The light to dark ratio is very good, and it reproduces darks and black colors very well. Secondly is the viewing angle for plasma is very wide, so if you're in a situation where you have people sitting off to the sides of the screen, they'll still be able to see the picture well. Third is plasmas do recreate motion sequences such as action scenes or video games very well, and they don't get any of the ghosting that can sometimes appear with your LCDs. The bad thing about plasmas is that they generally do consume more power, and they are only available in larger sizes. About 40-42 inches is the smallest size available for a plasma TV. Finally, I should mention that plasma technology is sort of on the way out the door. It will eventually be fully replaced by LED technology once that becomes more prevalent. The next technology for flat screen TVs is liquid crystal display, or LCD, and that is definitely the most prevalent technology that's available right now. LCDs have tiny pixels that are filled with liquid crystals that rely on a backlight to actually provide lighting for the image that's on the LCD. They do also have their pluses and their minuses. The good is that they come in a range of sizes, from tiny LCD monitors for computers all the way up to 60, 70 plus inch large LCD TVs. They are low power. They don't really consume much, especially compared with plasmas, and they are multi-purpose, which means you can generally plug an LCD into your computer to serve as a secondary monitor. Finally, they are very cost-effective because they are generally in mass production right now, so they're widely available. The negatives about LCDs is that the quality can vary a lot depending on which manufacturer you choose from, so it's definitely good to go for a tier 1 brand. Next, they do rely on that pesky backlight in order to project the image through the LCD panel. Backlights are generally made with CCFL lighting, which is cold cathode fluorescent lamps, which is the same kind of lamps that you might have in your office building. Unfortunately, the backlight does tend to wash out the colors some, so your contrast ratio is not going to be as good, and definitely as far as the darker color reproduction and true black, you're not going to see the same type of image quality with that you would with a plasma or an LED display. The final flat screen technology that we're going to talk about is LED. LED stands for light emitting diode, and it is the future of television. Eventually, LED technology will supplant LCD and plasma, and it's going to give us the thinnest and most cost-effective televisions that give incredible color reproduction and contrast ratio, while at the same time using less power than current LCD televisions. What we do have right now is hybrid LCD LED televisions, such as the Sony EX7 40-inch television that I have behind me. This uses a hybrid edge-lit LED technology. So in the front we have an LCD panel, and behind it, around the 4 edges, we have LED strips that are used to light the LCD. The LED strips are on all the time, and they channel the light to the center, so you have a universal light source across the entire panel. This can produce an incredibly thin and power efficient panel, but since the LED strips still light the entire panel, you will get better contrast ratio and black levels than within a standard LCD, but not quite as good as an LED backlit panel. LED backlit panels actually have an entire LED panel behind the LCD, and it's intelligent enough that it can light specific areas of the panel based on the image that's displayed. So if you have, say, an area of black here along the bottom of the screen, the LED lighting behind that area will turn off, and you will see an actual true black there. For you home theater fanatics, you would definitely want to look into an LED backlit panel as soon as you possibly can. Now that you've decided on the type of technology you want in your television, next you should decide how big it should be. There's a few different formulas for this depending on who you ask, but I use a pretty simple equation myself. First, figure out the distance between the TV and where you'll be sitting. Take a third of that distance, and that's about how big the TV should be. So if you're sitting 12 feet from your television, a third of that is 4 feet, so you should get about a 48-inch panel. Next, we're going to take a look at the different connector types that are available on the back of the television. We're going to move down the list from the newest and most high definition all the way down to the oldest and the standard definition connections. First, and the newest connection that's available, is HDMI. HDMI plugs look like this here, and you get an HDMI cable that looks like this one here. The benefit of HDMI is that it carries both an audio signal and a high definition video signal over the same cable. Connector looks like that. You can only plug in one way, and now your device is connected. Apart from HDMI, you might have some older components in your home that need to connect using some older connectors. So you want to make sure that whatever TV you purchase has those available. Here on the back, and the next item below HDMI, it would actually be DVI. Now, we don't have a direct DVI plug here on the back of the Bravia, but a DVI plug looks like this, and it's probably something that you have coming out of your home PC. DVI carries a high definition video signal only. You can use an adapter such as this one to transmit a DVI video signal from your computer into an HDMI signal, but bear in mind that you will only get video through this plug. There are some video cards that you can connect an audio signal to as well, but you'll have to consult your video card's documentation for that. Moving on, we have component video, and that is the red, blue, and green plugs that you see right here. Component video can carry a high definition video signal, that's 1080p, and it is the next step down below DVI. A lot of VCRs and cable boxes use a component video connection. Underneath component video, we have analog video sources, and that would be S-video or composite video. Composite video is a standard RCA plug such as the yellow one that you see here, and you can get adapters pretty cheap that will also convert that to an S-video plug. Bear in mind that it is a video signal only, so you'll also need to plug in your red and white audio cables as well. Finally, you'll notice here on the Bravia you have audio plugs here at the bottom that are used to connect audio signals from whatever device you're connecting. And we also have an Ethernet LAN port. That is because the Bravia EX7 has built-in internet video. You connect an Ethernet cable to this LAN port from your home router, and then you can stream video directly from the internet. The last plug you'll notice is the cable antenna plug here, and that's a coaxial plug. The coax signal, if you route it directly from your cable provider, will give you standard definition cable. If you have a cable box, you'll route your coax cable into your cable box and then probably use a high definition connector such as a composite or an HDMI plug to get the video signal from your cable box into your television. Finally, let's take a look at some of the other specs that you'll probably come across while shopping around for an HD TV. First is resolution. If you're getting a television that's 32 inches or smaller, you'll probably be okay with 720 resolution. At that size, the pixels are closer together and you really can't tell any difference. If it's anything larger than that, make sure you're getting a television with 1920 by 1080 resolution. That is true HD, and that will make sure that you're taking advantage of all your high definition content. Next is refresh rate, and that is the rate at which the image on the screen is reproduced. Most televisions, you'll notice, are 60 Hz, and that is perfectly acceptable. If you find a good deal on a 60 Hz refresh rate TV, you should definitely jump on it. You can, however, bump it up to 120 Hz, and that is particularly nice if you're big into action movies or video games or anything with a lot of fast-moving motion that's on the screen. 120 Hz will give you a sharper image and will also give you much smoother image and will not result in ghosting. Finally, you'll want to take a look into the future and determine what you're planning to use your television for. If you're just going to be plugging it into your cable box and turning it on, then you'll be all set. However, a lot of us have media that is on our computers or out there on the internet that we want to actually display on our large flat screen television. In that case, you will definitely want to look into either purchasing third-party hardware, such as a media streaming box that you can plug into your television in order to get that media either from the internet or off of your computer. Or you might want to look into a TV that has a built-in solution such as Sony's Bravia series here, which has built-in Ethernet connection and internet video. Well, thank you very much everyone for watching today's tutorial, and we'll see you next time on Newegg TV.